And we're getting, if you haven't been able to see it, we're giving a nice sneak peek of this, and we encourage you to ask questions. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Great.
Is Ricky going to show the video?
Oh, I think if you wanted to say a few words, then I think Ricky will be happy to show it. Is that
Oh,
okay with
okay.
you, Ricky?
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. And it's a really honor and to be invited to speak with you, every one of you. And it's a great opportunity for me actually connect with the community in large. And so I've been living Pleasanton 6 years. I moved from Cupertino, and so in the past 6 years, 5 years actually, I've been taking photos of the community, and mostly is the people in the community. And so for the show, and Steve just mentioned, it's not rescheduled 3 times because of popularity, because it's a pandemic.
Oh, sorry.
So the show is supposed to be, last year, March 18th, and a week before the opening, and because the sheltering in place and lockdown, and got postponed, and to last, before the Thanksgiving, and again the day we actually installed the exhibition in the museum, just at that day, at that hour, and we got the words from California, governor says, okay, another a month's lockdown. So the show is there, but people cannot see it. That's why we have to schedule another time, and that's a 3 strike. That's a charm. And so yeah, I think maybe for this show, and is I created a video, and maybe Ricky can first show the video, and then we can talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, and so just before my presentation, actually, I got chance to watch the Rotary Club in a video, and actually that video really keep me pumped up, and the content, the music, and the message, and what I see from that clip is really about people, connection, and learn and serve and all those other keywords. It really struck me hard, and actually that's also what I'm trying to convey from my photos. And so I for this presentation, and I prepared a small slides, and I'm going to share and with you, and about, and also some story behind some of the photos, and I'm going to share my presentation here. Yeah, so 6 years ago, and I moved to Pleasanton, and we loved the a city. And right after we moved here, and we just fell in love, and we really felt welcomed by this nice community. And and for just like when I first start to put together this photo albums, and I asked my son Anthony Guan to write something about the photos, and that's what he wrote. He said the people that make up the community are what define that community. To many passing by, an ordinary town may feel like just another place. To those who make up the town, it's not just another place; it's our home. So that's the message I really want to convey, and from from the photos. So what this really meant is to be a photographer and to take photos, and what is the meaning of the photos, what message you want to try to send, and what connection you want to make. And that's how we get started this whole project. And so to one of our master photographer, Paul Strand, he put the photography, and in a very simple way, is photography is also not only just the image, also it's a language itself. And he said that to be a good photographer, you must first have something to say about the world you live in. Then to make work in a rectangular space, maybe that is more technical part. But the first thing is what the message, what do you want to say about the environment, the community, and the people interact with on a daily basis. And so because of the time limitation, I can only take a moment to reflect, how this project started. And about 5 years ago, and I just landed here and moved here. And one day I just took the camera with me, and I moved, walk around in a Memorial Day in Pioneer Cemetery. And then I met a lady, and Louise, and I don't know her. And but as I walk around, and I saw her, and we each smile at each other, and then we start to talk. And so then I learned, actually, and she came to cemetery every week, sometimes once, sometimes twice a week. And her husband actually was resting that place. And she come here and bring flower or water the plants in the gravestone. And so then she mentions that her husband also a veteran, Air Force veteran. And we talk about how coincidence the cemetery is actually in a flight path. And so then we talk, and then at the end of the conversation, I said, "May I take a photo of you?" And Lois said, "Oh, no, no, I'm, I don't even do my hair, and how do I look?" I said, "Okay, it's okay, and just be who you are." And I think the setting, everything is perfect. So then I took this photo, and after I developed the film, and I sent the image to her, and I told her, I said, "Louis, I said, from this photo and from more conversation we have, I really felt you have strong, connections, still connection with your husband." Then she replied back, emotionally, said, "Yes, and, I always felt I have unbreakable, connection with my husband." And so this is the, words and the email, and actually uh, motivated me. I said, okay, if I can take a photo and make people to, feel their connection to the people they are around them, and their family, their community, maybe I said I can do something, use my skill set. And that's how I, start to, sometimes as a street photographer, the challenge is you met people on the street, and the people you never talked about, you never knew, then you need to make an instant connection within 5 minutes, and that's a challenge. But I said, okay, maybe I can take the challenge, that. So that's how, this is the first photo of this, the Pleasanton One project. And this person, I'm sure probably many of you have probably knew him. His name is Gary Winter. He's an artist himself. And if you go to farmers market on Saturday, he moved away a couple of years back. And he was, you see they put a stand to sell those miniature, replica of the house and stuff. And we start to our conversation, and just on a weekly basis, and just checked out and say, "What are you doing?" And one day he asked me, say, "Tal, what are you going to do with all those photographs?" I said, "I don't know." And then the next week, then I said, maybe I can do a book about the Pleasanton. Although at that time I don't have many photos. And then he said, yeah, maybe you should do that. Then I said, what is the title? And Gary said, maybe called Pleasanton Ones. So that is, that moment is give me a clarity about what the project is, what, the main theme, this photo album going to be. So that's where the Pleasanton Ones and comes. And the focus basically is about, not about the photo itself, it's about the people living in this community. And over the time, and when after I start to meet more people, and what I felt is everywhere I go, and people are very friendly, and they, in different situation, they demonstrate their love and connection to the community. And this is one of the photos I took, and I don't think Karen was noticing when I took this photos. It's really show what this community is, and people may not know each other, and in busy day life, but through some gathering, farmers market, and people start to communicate with each other. And so one thing I felt is a Pleasanton itself is to me, it's many people is like a family, and it's keeps on loving and keeps on growing, and the city is keep welcoming newcomers, and is expanding. And so I think that's where I start to put together the book. After I published the book, I sent one copy to the museum, and on May, and then they decide to say, okay, let's do a show for this community. And this the photo you probably you saw in the video is about the people, is about this town and how people coming together. So then quickly, and you know, the last year, because of pandemic, and the situation is very tough to everybody, and we start to work from home, and shelter in place, you know, order, and it was placed, and nobody can go anywhere. And as a photographer, and I kind of say, okay, this is a historical moment in the century and unprecedented. And what can I do to actually document what's going on in my community? And so I start to walk around, and you know, wearing mask. And in the first month I didn't go anywhere, and the second month I start to walk around and taking some photos. And on the day when the market opens, and this photo you are seeing on the screen is the first day the market, farmers market was open. And you can see people are really very disciplined and keep a distance. And so I put the title of this photos is called, you know, love is 6 feet apart. And when West, some of the country is still talking about should we wear masks or not, but Pleasanton people really stood up and wearing mask. Wearing mask is not only for themselves, it's also respect to the people around them. So over the 6 months, actually, 8 months, starting from mid-March, I shot thousands of photos. And at the end of October, and I put together a book called A Sheltering Place in Pleasanton. Is actually is just trying to document how the community and cope with the pandemic, and how we help each other, love each other. And these two photos, I really want to talk about it a little bit. For on the right is a Todd. He's a worker in Radius. And you know, I think I took this photo back in May. And it's I really during this difficult time, actually, all the frontline worker is our hero, and they help, they sacrifice, they put themselves in harm's way, and just want to make sure we have food on the table. So I took these photos after the book is published, and I went back and I found Todd, and I give him the book I published. On the left is another interesting story. This little boy called Brian. And one day, Saturday night, I was just sitting in front of the museum on Main, and this little boy just circling around me, and because he's bored, his parents is having dinner, and as he's playing game with me. Then I took photos of him when he trying to hide from he was hiding behind the bench. Then he put his head out. Then we have a 20 minutes of conversation, and little Brian said, after all this over, and he's just the first grade, and after this is always over, and I want to have a bike. I want to have, I want to go back to school. I want a baby sister, and I want to have a pet, a puppy. And at that moment, I was really, motivated, struck by his word. I said, okay, if a word, a single, little boy like Brian can really, keep a promise, hope for himself, as an adult, as a people in the current situation, why can't we think the same way as a little Brian, be hopeful? And many cases, we have to show our courage, and to facing the current situation. So that's some like a motive, nice photos. Always give me a good memory. And yeah, so I I never knew Rotary Club, this much about the club. And one of the things, the words in the web page is serve, connect, learn, and actually, really this words it really left a great impression on me, and then impact on me. I think many of my photo and what I want to achieve is really what in line what your club is trying to do. And I hope since from now on I can be helpful if I can in my capacity, and to be part of the effort. Yeah, those to me, photography is really about capture, the ordinary life, ordinary people at the ordinary place, and hopefully some of those, can really create extraordinary memory for us. And so it's to me, photography is an experience, and it's a way I connect with the people and also help. Show what the community is and document them. And one of the things the director of Museum of Maine said, Jim said, is that we have a lot of story in the past. What happened to the one it's currently happening? And we need a record of those things. So I said, yes, I think as a community photographer, I really want to do a bit more on that. And those are the book I published so far. And the Pleasanton one was 2 years ago, The Sheltering Place in Pleasanton, and it's just published. And but since the show cannot be open to the public, and so I think some people may find the book Sheltering Place in like a bookstore and a museum and online. And also I made a book about San Francisco, because for many days during this lockdown, and I couldn't go anywhere, but I really miss San Francisco. So that's why I made a book called San Francisco Memoir. And so yeah, I think this is my just short presentation. I can open up to all the questions you have, and thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I thought that was beautiful. The video was outstanding. We don't have too much time left. So if anybody has questions, please ask them, or if you want to share them through me or Ginger, we'll be happy to forward them. So please go ahead.
Oh, just quickly, Mr. Kwan, do you have a website where we can look up some of the work that may be shown on your website?
Yes, I have a website. I can forward to Steve or Rick, and he can forward to everybody. Yes.
Great, thank you.
Hi, I just want to say thank you for your presentation and for sharing these photos with us. It's a timely thing. We need to be connected now as a community, and I think you did a beautiful job of doing that.
Thanks.
I have something I'd like to contribute. Thank you. These are just so inspiring. You remind me of the Norman Rockwell of Pleasanton. And Gary Winters, you might appreciate. Gary gave a talk at our Rotary Club a few years back, and his story was about how he had this dream of meeting Ronald Reagan. And he did. He succeeded. Maybe he told you that story. He loved that story.
Yeah, some of the work was collected by museum. Yeah.
By creating art, he ended up bringing it to Ronald Reagan, which ended up in Ronald Reagan Simi Valley Library.
Yes.
And it's there today. So yeah, he's another artist from Pleasanton who's inspiring. So thank you.
Yeah, he's my inspiration. And after I published book, he moved away. I sent him a copy. I said, Gary, you are largely responsible for this book. So yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again. And Bill just posted a link or some information that Tao's book is available on Amazon if anybody would like to order it. So with that, anything else? Steve?
No, I just, I'm getting all teary-eyed after that. So I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. We need to be connected.
Thank you, Tao. Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today. So with that, we will adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye all.